the recording, and I want to welcome everybody here to our Tuesday edition of Rise Above the Noise, Ask Me Another. I do have a special guest, Elvia Roe, here today, but before I talk to Elvia and introduce you to her, I wanted to kind of take what I've been talking about the past few weeks to the next level. So a couple of weeks ago, I showed everybody how to export their LinkedIn contacts and people, and I found that was pretty helpful. People got a lot out of this, and now you probably have a list of contacts that's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I knew that many people. So now the next thing to do after you got that list, which we talked about last week, was kind of look at the list, spend some time loving it up, and segment it in some way. So we had talked a few different ways of segmenting last week. Another way that is super helpful to segment is you can ABC it, and I won't even be able to do it justice in just explaining what it is. But it's basically going through your list and give an A to the contacts that you know well, you've worked with them, they know you well, they trust you, you trust them. There's a lot of energy exchange between you and your A's. You know that you can count on them, and they know that they can count on you. Your B's are people who know you well, who you think, you have that great exchange of energy with, but they're almost to an A, but not quite there. C's are people you know and love, and they're in your circles and kind of know you, but just aren't there yet. And it's not a hard or fast science, but give it a try, and then just have it ready for yourself. And then what I'm going to tell you is, I know, Rachel, you picked up this book. I'm obsessing about this book. It was recommended to me through the Bold Heart program, and I'm reading it, and I read it again, and I'm going to probably read it all the time, over and over again. What I did do for the Rise Above the Noise Facebook group is I went through this book, and I took pictures of some of my favorite pages, circled some of my favorite passages, and wrote them out for you guys. So you can read it. I'm going to put the passages up there. I'm hoping that people on the group will give me their thoughts about it. I think there are some things that are confusing that maybe if we talk about it as a group, even I get a little bit, what does that really mean? So I'd love to have discussions on the group about this book over the next month, and I'll be posting excerpts almost every day. So I'm really excited about that. Welcoming Jody. Hey, Jody.
Hi, Susan.
Give me a quick second. I want to introduce Elvia, but I want to make it a good introduction, and I should have brought this up earlier. I'm hoping everybody had a great weekend. This long weekend was perfect weather, and really nice time to kind of ease into what I think is going to be a really busy fall for a lot of people. All right. So I do want to introduce you to Elvia Roe. Elvia is the owner of Angels Teach. She's the founder and owner of angelsteach.com. She tells us that she discovered the angels at the ripe age of her early 40s, after leaving her high-powered corporate career to be home with her children. She's passionate about teaching the language of the angels, and she delights in using real-life examples of how the angels show up to help us with everything from fixing the kitchen sink to deciding which shoes to wear when we're navigating the challenging relationships and life situations. When I asked Elvia what her superpower was, she said that she works with her angels to help people connect with their own love-based intuition so they can experience inner knowing and personal enlightenment. So then she had to translate that a little bit for me. And basically she says she helps people discover the mind chatter and to connect with source. And so I want to welcome you, Elvia, and give you a few moments to kind of riff on what it is you do.
Thank you, Susan. So delighted to be here with you and you other lovely ladies, mostly ladies here, right? I think you
Yes.
focus more on women, don't you, Susan?
Yeah. You know, it seems to be that's what I'm attracting. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, my passion is really helping people to know themselves better and to understand how to harness source. And because we have this ability, and you guys have all, I mean, Susan, you getting that ticket, you threw a big old lasso around source to get that one, and you pulled it towards you with your intention and how you asked your higher guidance, and obviously you were destined to be there because it happened, and so congratulations. Because that's
Inbound 2018, here I come.
Exactly, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so what happens when people connect with what I call their angels, which I actually use interchangeably with love-based intuition. And I was thinking about it this morning in preparation that I love the term angels because love-based intuition is what it is. When we use the term angels, we understand that there's this power that is not only inside of us, but outside of us. And for example, when I was thinking this morning, because as you said in the introduction, I love using real life examples. And today has just been a day where I have needed to, and we always need to, but today especially really lean into my angels and my higher base guidance, because we just got in pretty late last night from a long weekend, an extended weekend in Indiana, and just going nonstop. And then this morning we had somebody coming at 8:30 for bathroom remodeling. Our cleaning people are showing up shortly. I had a call at 9:30. I needed to be ready for this and to be prepared for this. And I was just thinking, okay, let's get in the headspace. And really every single decision that I made this morning, as it usually is, was from that space of, okay, guide me through this. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of, and our son was needing something. It was just, we're ladies, right? We're always being pulled in about 1,000 different directions. So when you're being pulled into 1,000 different directions, like I was this morning, how do you know which is the right direction? How do you know which is going to lead you on that path of feeling that deepest fulfillment that, yes, this is what I need to be doing right now. This is what I need to be wearing right now. Those silly things. How can I have breakfast? What's the best breakfast? All those things that we're constantly as women juggling. So I've just actually been in the process of delineating 5 core tips for partnering with your angels. And you can go on to angelsteach.com blog and see I've already posted 4 of them so far. But I did want to touch upon them briefly this morning because they're foundational for a relationship with your angels. And the first one is to realize that we're all always guided. That this is not, because I find that a lot of people fall into a belief that is not true, that, our angels, our higher guidance is only there for the big stuff. They're only there when we're in crisis, when somebody needs a healing, when, we're in deep financial debt. The truth is that we're always guided. The second part of that is that we have to be clear. So, we're talking law of attraction basics here. So we're always guided. We're always receiving this higher path is always available to us. We access that higher path by how we ask for help and how we engage with the energies, with the universe around us. And so that's why we have to be, like Susan, your example, you were very clear with what you wanted. You wanted that ticket. I'm sure that you felt it. You had a lot of feeling when you asked for that to manifest. And you were certain that this is something that is important to you. There wasn't any wavering. There wasn't that sort of, yeah, maybe I want you. Like you really dug into that request.
Wanted it. Absolutely.
You wanted it.
I did.
And then, of course, so much gratitude. You can feel the gratitude as you talk about it, right? So it's important that as we make requests to the universe, as we partner with our angels, that we're in that space of clarity and simplicity and certainty and gratitude and feeling with what it is. And then when we are receiving back, we know of those 1,000 things that are happening in our realities, we know that there's only one yes. And this is where I find women in particular can trip and fall down, because we want to please everyone. Little clairaudient ding there. And so we have to understand that our best way to please not only ourselves, and please isn't even the right word, to really align with the highest good for ourselves, for everybody involved, is to find that one yes, to listen for that one yes. And if it's not a yes, if the answers that come in are unclear, then it's a no. And again, this is where I find a lot of people stumble, because we do get pulled in so many different directions. So it's really tuning into what is the yes in this moment for me. And then the fourth thing is, and this is, as I said in my blog, it's what really separates the masters from the herd, is when things don't turn out as we expect them to, as we envision them, then we must really be in that space of faith that, okay, this is what was meant to happen. It doesn't look like what I thought it was going to happen, but I trust. I understand that something else better is happening, and that it's all good. Really important to be able to flip it and always stay in that place of gratitude for whatever it is that's happening. And then the last thing is really understanding that it's a partnership, that it's not a hierarchy, relationship with your angels, with source, that it's a partnership, and that everything that you put out comes back to you. And as you see it from this space of grace and humility and love and surrender and forgiveness for all things, that you get back an abundance of goodness. And that's really what the partnership is all about. So that's a little bit of a long-winded answer, Susan.
You froze up on
Decided to share today.
That's awesome. You froze up on me for a second there. So if I looked confused, it's because I was waiting for it to catch up.
Oh,
That was wonderful. And what I've been noticing, because this is not where I came from, right? I'm so analytical, and what's your analytics? What's your return on investment? And how, what are the steps I can take to reach that goal? But I have to say that having started through the She Breeds network and learning with the people that I've met there and learning other language and skills, simple things like writing down my gratitudes. Every day that I write down my 3 gratitudes, I am grateful for, because, blah, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you. Every day that I write them, something magical happens. And whether or not you're a faith-based person, there is something about in your mind for me, when I set my intention, or when I notice what's good, even more of it seems to come to me. So this amazing ticket that I got, or, finding a bracelet that I had lost for so long, after, just thinking, okay, letting it go. And then it came back to me. And I imagine that's kind of where your world is, because you really pay much more close attention to it than I do. And I would imagine that's why you're good at guiding people to do so. What are the kind of things that people come to you with that you help them through?
A lot of times it's relationship stuff. I put a post on Facebook recently because it puts me a little out of my comfort zone, which is probably a big old arrow pointing towards it. But I seem to have a superpower for one of the superpowers for really being able to sense harmony or disharmony in a relationship. And it can be between a couple, often is with a couple. I don't do couples counseling. I'm not saying that, but helping primarily women to sort through their feelings and to really get to the nugget of truth of what is happening in a particular relationship, because that's really what our angels are helping us to do, is to focus on truth and to really see what is that truth within us. And for so many, again, especially women, although it's men too, um, there's a lot of noise, rise above the noise, right? There's a lot of noise, so that it can be really hard to know what is truth for you.
Well, and so to bring that back to rise above the noise and business, and because I think our relationship with our business is a relationship as well, right? It's not a human being, but it's certainly something we give life to, and we nurture it, and we're sometimes angry with it, and sometimes we're in love with it. And so how can we use the tools that you're talking about? What would be some things that we could use in order to really be in love with our business and to let our business grow with our nurturing?
Oh, it's funny you say that, because it is absolutely, anything that we engage in is a relationship, whether it's with food, whether it's with our bodies, whether it's with our business, whether it's with a partner. It's all about relationship, and the same dynamics are always at play, or almost always at play. So, when you're talking about a relationship with your business, how do you really feel about it?
Yeah.
What really ignites you? What are the truths that are there? Where is the energy flowing? Where is it not flowing? And I think a lot of us get burned out trying to push a boulder up the hill, because we're trying to do something that doesn't come easily, doesn't come naturally, and honestly isn't what is meant to be. Because manifestation process isn't meant to be this really difficult chore. It's meant to be simple. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be like breathing. And it's when we focus on the truth in the business and what is really working there, that we open up the pathway for the manifestation to happen.
So what is something we can do?
Well, this may sound, I don't know your audience that well, Susan, but, I love to talk to angels teach, and I'll sit in meditation. It's like, okay, so tell me, what do you, angels teach? What do you need from me? What do you want? What are your priorities? And honestly, it's another way of talking to ourselves and talking to source. It's not like angels teach is, obviously it's not another person, but it's a way to open up different pathways inside of us to get different information. And so speaking to your business, what's working really well right now? Journal about it. What's working really well? Like, where is the energy flowing? Going back to what I talked about with tip number 3, if it's not a yes, a clear yes, it's a no. So where are the clear yeses in your business? Where are the clear, yeah, the energy's flowing here? And where are they not? And where it's not, how can you either just table those for now, possibly let those go? How can you focus on the yeses? How can you focus on what's really flowing well, and of course that you love?
That's really helpful. And sometimes I forget about that. Sometimes I'm trying to force my business to do one thing because this is what it's supposed to do. But when it really feels right, I'm serving the people I'm supposed to serve. I'm with the people I'm supposed to serve. But it might not be what like a business advisor, a business coach necessarily would advise me to do. It's not necessarily what's going to, even in this short term, bring me the income that are my set goals. But I do feel that in the long term it will. And again, I'm going to bring that back to having relationships, that if you're serving the people, my feeling is if I'm serving the people I'm supposed to serve, then all of that should follow.
Exactly.
I see.
And it's impossible to tease apart business from life, right?
Right.
So understand that if there are other things going on in your life, if those aren't being managed, if you have situations in your life that are flaring up, that are drawing on your energy, it is going to impact your business. And because I've seen people do this, if you sort of buckle down and push through because you've got to pay the bills and you have to take care of your family and you have to take care of a friend in crisis, there's going to be a cost of that. So this is why it's so important to always know what is the yes in this moment, because
that's my takeaway.
If you push through, the cost could be health, the cost could be a broken relationship, the cost could be losing your job, the cost could be that things just don't work out in your business, because I understand most people here are entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
So you can do it, but how sustainable is it? And it's ultimately not sustainable.
Awesome. I'd love to open it up to see if Rachel or Jody, if you guys have any questions for Elvia. I'm going to go through here and see. If you don't have questions, I would say I wanted to ask you about this book that I asked you for a book recommendation, Elvia, and you said Rise, Sister, Rise by Rebecca Campbell, which was actually also another book recommendation I received this week. What is it that you loved about that book?
Oh, I love that book. Yeah, it's upstairs. I wish I had brought it next to me. It's the kind of book where you just open to wherever you feel pulled, wherever, what I would say, you feel guided. And it's a little dose of inspiration. And it's so much about women rising up. I mean, obviously, Rise, Sister, Rise, but it's so much about plugging into the power that we have and understanding that we have been, as a gender, we have been disconnected from the truth of our power for so long. And that this is the time that we are all being called to, through our businesses, through our relationships, through everything that we do, to rise up and really stop ignoring those signs that are another clairaudient little thing there. The rise up and really respond to the call that is in our hearts, and it's hardwired within all of our hearts. And so it's a magical book, truly.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm probably going to put that on the Rise Above list. So the other thing I wanted to ask you is, by now that I love a good call to action. How can people find out more about you? Do you want to you're offering something? Do you have something coming up? What can we do to stay in touch with you?
Oh, thank you for that. So yeah, I do. I actually have my Angel Communication Master's certification program that is starting in October. And I love teaching this class because this is where, and I've had a lot of past students say that this is where life really changes, where just listening to your intuition here and there, where just relying on sort of what I would call spotty guidance shifts into really just knowing how to be in the flow, really knowing how to master and rise above, the chaos, and know of those 1,000 choices in front of us. How do you locate that yes and follow through with it, and understand how an answer that's best and most aligned for you is best for everybody involved. So that class is starting in October, and what I'm offering, part of this is a 15-minute call to help you understand how being a master of angel communication can translate to your life. What does that look like? What could that look like for you? So if you take life as it is now, you plug in a relationship, a partnership with your angels. What does life start to look like for you? What is unlocked? What is now available to you as part of that?
Fabulous.
And my website, that is actually not on angelsteach.com, but you can find how to contact me through that, just either through Facebook, or you can reach me or through email through my website.
Awesome. And the Wi-Fi went in and out just a little bit, and I wanted to make sure that I heard you correctly. Did you say that you're offering a 15-minute discovery call?
Yes.
Okay, and they can reach you through your website or through your Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. Anything else, you guys? It was so great to spend time with you, Elvia.
Thank you, Susan. It
I
was
hope you get to enjoy some of this beautiful weather today and this energy, and I am
oh,
off to Boston, you guys. I'll
gorgeous.
see you guys on the group. Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Everyone.